start anytime you're ready.
Well, that's why I got married. So my wife takes all of my vocal cords.
No,
You know,
I can't have mine taken now because I'm just wet.
you know, it's a funny thing that I went to the hospital for 57 days this last time, and I cut it off about halfway through, so say 30 something days. I cut it short, and I came out with my voice box talking like this, and I couldn't understand it. So my doctor told me, says, don't worry about it. It'll come out right. But it never did come out right. And then it got to the point that I couldn't walk. Hey, what's wrong with my legs? Oh, we'll have to...
He's ready to take your picture.
He's taking my picture. Where you at? So anyway, I don't know why you can't walk. You should walk. I'll get a therapist up there to teach you. So I said, all right. But listen, this nurse hospital is a thing. Whatever you got, and don't know if they'll find it. Yeah, they got all kind of nuclear machines downstairs. They're tiresome to get under, but you're gonna have to get under it. And they mold you into this, they mold you into that. And you got your x-rays. And you got a million doctors that go through you all by the orders of one doctor. I had some good doctors while I've been sick, which I've been sick now for 23 years. Out of my 23 years, I've had two doctors. And the one before this one was Dr. Tyler. I thought that he was good. He was good. But nobody can touch this Dr. Washington. And somehow or another, he got back to Dr. Jordan. The Dr. Jordan is the main doctor. And I got back to him and I had said that if I have to go to a doctor and Dr. Washington ain't here, wherever he'd be, that's where I'm going to be. They can take me to him. And Evelyn and my wife tried to take me to Ohio, California, Mexico, all over. They wanted to travel. I told them I'd go for two reasons. One, if they take Dr. Washington with me. And the other one would be if they take the nurse to the hospital also with me. Now you think that's funny, but nurse hospital is a place that a lot of people can't stand because they're shortchanged. They haven't got enough help in there. But as far as taking care of the sick, they do the job right. They do a good job. And then one day, my wife got smart. Dr. Washington happened to be coming down the corridor. So she said, Doctor. So he came back. Yes, Miss Cole. He says, Jim wants to go to Hawaii in California. Is it all right if he goes? He said, sure. If he takes me with him. So that guy had no more trouble out of her. But they come back and they bring me this tale about leave and this, that, and the other. And in fact, just recently, they told me that he's gonna go, so I called him up. And listen, man, if you leave it, you let me know. Now don't you be just picking up and going by yourself. He says, Jimmy, I ain't going nowhere. I said, well, good enough. That's all I want to hear. But I don't go. I don't go for nobody that have this sickness. And I can't say, leave the cigarettes alone. Because that's not true. And I know people who smoke them don't have this lung and heart disease that I got. But there's 100,000 of us that do have it. It's a dreadful disease. But if you don't fight these doctors on their administration, you with the hypertension machine and the medications, you'll come out right. But if you try to fight them, your cause is next right there. I usually got 2 girls, 1 white girl and 1 black girl. That are 2 good anesthesists. And those are the girls that puts the tube in your nose for you to put the respirator on. They'll put that tube in your nose. And I wouldn't tell a lie. But you don't even know what's in there when they put it in. They got that tube in your nose and call for the nurse to tie it up. It's all finished. You don't even know they started. They're really good. And then you have a lot of these guys in there that can't take it. As soon as they put it in there, they pull it out.
Yeah.
One guy been in there for, well, when I came out of there, it was 18 months. He probably still there. He's probably still there with on a respirator. Because they put him on a respirator. And when they turned around, they yanked it out of his nose. And he got so he keeps his mouth open all day long. Don't never close his mouth. And he just laid up in that bed. I laid up in that bed for 18 months, boy. That's brutal in itself right there.
It is.
But if he had left his hands off of that tube and then pull it out, he'd have been all right today. And then you got the little 18-year-old girl. She was 18. This was 30 years ago. She was being graduated from high school. And when she got her diploma, she was going the next day, she was going to get married to her boyfriend. And before the ceremony was over, she went into a coma. And hasn't come out of it yet. And she's been in a nurse's hospital all along. Her father and her brother, you would think they was on the staff of the nurse's hospital. They're there every day and every night. They're right there with them. But that's what this sickness is all about. Now when I go to the hospital, I don't care how much doctors and nurses are there. Mrs. Phyllis Hollis is there every day. And if she don't come on time one day, the nurse wants to know, where's your daughter? Did your daughter come today? And then yes, she'll be here. So don't miss a day. Sunset Union is at that strike and everything. And she's the head of all that college. She's been missing a lot of days. But ordinarily she don't be missing those days. And they know it. The rest of these people, now, if sister could get up there, she'd be up there every day. My daughter Connie comes up there once a month. Connie comes up there about once a month. And my grandsons, you can't blame them because I guess they still don't like to come to hospitals. And, you know, you'd be looking for people in the hospital. But when I first went there, I didn't want nobody to see me with that respirator on my nose. And when they come in there, I run them out there, they go home. Tell them I don't know. I lost my mind, I don't know. Let's get out of here. Let them come in. And then the biggest problem that I have in the hospital is after I get incubated and I wake up and Miss Monty Cole with her hand out, beckoning for me to come on with her. I'm glad to see her. But I didn't have time to be with her until I'm not ready. So then when I tell Phyllis about it, Phyllis said, well, when she comes to you again, I want you to come, you send her to me. That's all right, well, she ain't come back yet. So, Kevin, I don't know what else to say. I have so many things that I've done in my life, heavy duty things, that being crippled and can't use my feet like I do now. It's a handicap to me. I would like to, well, once I get downstairs, well, when they're taking these Lasix, I'd have to use these urinals. I'll be all right outside, but once I get outside, I got these urinals that I take outside with me in a bag, so that when I have to go to the bathroom, I'm right there with me. And
You remember anything about being when you were a child or your parents? They want to talk about some history.
oh yeah, you know.
You being the oldest member.
Right, I remember so much. You know, your sister Carol, she had wrote me a biography for my 70th birthday. And Phyllis also wrote me one. And I keep telling Kevin because the way that they wrote that suits me to a tree. That's me. That's every step of the way that I go. Just the way they had it. But I can remember all of my childhood. Ordinarily, children don't remember this. But I can remember when my grandmother used to have to come and take care of us. My mama went out and done day's work. I can remember my uncle Harold from Jersey used to come and live with us. And they had motorcycles, him and my father.
That's how you started riding motorcycles?
Yeah. And bring the motorcycles in the house at night time when we lived on Inwood Place. I can remember when we moved. We wouldn't move from one street to the other in Pelham. We would move out of Pelham. We would move from one street to the other. And all that swamp land that we had to walk through and everything, you know. But Daddy wouldn't let us move out of Pelham. We just had to shoes squeaked as you were walking down the street. They knew it was you. So,
Did y'all go to Jersey at all much?
Daddy used to take us to Jersey on his motorcycle. He had a motorcycle with a sidecar. And he put the kids and my mama in the sidecar. And he had to run around New Jersey over to his sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Talbot Avenue. And we used to love that. So one day, I got, you know how you do when you get older. You get tired of home. And I got away and caught myself running away and went over to Jersey. And what was my aunt's name? Oh, I forget it now, but it was Walter's mother. And as soon as I got over there, she'd call up Daddy and tell Daddy I was over there. And about 20 minutes after our Daddy was over there with his little raggedy Model D Ford. And he come in there and look at me and said, "What are you doing over here, son?" I say, "I want to go and see my cousin." "Well, he'll see your son. Get ready, let's get out of here." So I look at Waller. The Waller said, "Later, man." So he said, "Okay, man." And he'd take me out home. And no sooner he get me home, I come right on back over there again. I didn't think that nothing could hurt me when I was young. Just let it run.
That didn't change much when you got older either.
No, it sure didn't. It sure didn't. I can remember the first time I got married to Ella. We used to live up on 10 Hemingway. I was running tractor trailer south, from New York south. And all along the highway on Route 40, it had these signs that blinked. I forget what they call that stuff. They kind of in stores today, you know, these signs blinking. And the signs blinking three-hour marriages and all that stuff. So I had been shacking up with Ella now for about, I guess about 12 years. And the war was starting to come on. And my mother called me down there one day and she said, "You're going to have to make up your allotment to me since you ain't married." I said, "Well, Ella's been giving me her money every week that she works." I said, "I can't do that to her." "Oh, no, that's the law." I said, "I'm sorry, that's the law." So I said, "All right." So I came over to Ella. I'm going to take it back down to Maryland. We're going to get married. So she said, "Why?" I said, "Because I'm married. We have to go to this service. And if I do, I want you to get my allotment." So that's what happened. I came back here. And I married the girl. And when we got down to Elkton, Maryland, we filed with this priest. And he had to spend 24 hours overlay. So we spent the 24-hour overlay down there because I was working for Blackburn at that time, you know. So we got married. And I come back home. When I come back home, I left her up on 10 Hemingway. But the comical part of it is this. And when I dropped her home, I thought I was going to work. I'll be back later. I come back 30 days later. When I did get back there, she looked at me and she said, "Jimmy, did you marry me or divorce me?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "We got married and you brought me and left me here and didn't come back to see how I was or nothing. Let me know what it is." I said, "No, I'm not going to divorce you." But there is so many things happened.
Okay, you all right?
Oh yeah, your father, your father and his bride, which has always been my pet sister, and oh boy, your father was a dapper damn man. He'd go along the street with his umbrella on his wrist and his lightweight coat across his wrist also, just to kill. And he had that dippy walk, and he'd go on up the street, and if you see me, boy, he's got oodles and oodles of stuff to talk to me about my sister. Get her out there, he'll talk to her. 'Cause Edith wouldn't come out, you know. So, finally, I would get her out of here. So we had a party, just like we had a Saturday. Everybody gets together, that's what you call it. Whatever, anyway. Everybody gets together and comes out to this party, see. At that time, nobody was dead. Daddy and Mom was living, Doris was living. Didn't have no deadly family. And we'd be sitting there eating. And Edith and everybody be around the table. And they was talking about all of us putting some money aside to give, to put in this kitty so that Daddy and Mama could have a house of their own before they died. And I don't know how Edith and Pete got into this argument first, but they stopped this argument. And they tried to make too much damn noise, so I grabbed both of them. You remember where Grandma lived in 121?
Yeah.
You know where our room was, and I pushed them both into Mama's room and said, I don't want to know about it. You all out of there. So, that's where they stayed. So then, here come Nealie. She gonna squash it. So, I'm gonna go ahead in there. So, he's over there, and that little devil boy, she can handle herself, boy. She got Pete, boy, and got Mama's wine, her electric iron, and she got the iron and Pete, and that Pete right under the bed, over the bed, in the bed, and nearly right back up. So, I walked in there, and I look at Edith, I said, what in the world are you doing, girl? She says, Jim, they're going to tell me what I was going to do and I don't want to do it. Well, you don't have to be hurting with that iron. Put the iron down. So she said, all right, you can stay in there with me. I said, well, I'm going to stay in there, but we'll go outside there. So we go outside. And when we go outside, it's just like all hell broke loose. Half of the people is running out the door. Iggy was living at that time. He had both his arms. My mother-in-law was up here from Pennsylvania. So Iggy was grabbing all the coats, all of our coats, and taking them outside so that he can have it. My mother-in-law grab us and bring us outside. We're going to get out of there, right? So, we're still there trying to square this thing down. I want to know what's the matter. So, Al and PG has got it on, and they're in the back room. And Al hit PG in the name of the king. And she went out like a light. I told her to get some ice and put it under her breast, put it under her chin. Ain't nothing woke up PG. So right next door was Dr. Burton's house. And his wife is a witch man. So I go across there. So she said, what do you want? I said, I want the doctor. Is he home? No, he ain't home. I said, well, can you tell me where he's at? No, I ain't gonna tell you where he's at. But we need a doctor. Well, get your own doctor. All right. Call the hospital. Hospital say, how long has she been out? I say about 10 minutes. Well, see if she stays out another 15 or 20 minutes. If she does, give us another ring.
Oh my God.
What do you want? You want her dead?
Yeah, right.
So we wait. And my mother grabbed me and told me, you gonna get out of here. So we got in my car and we came out home. I'll be calling down the bell every 2 minutes.
PG, wake up, man.
Yes. Peachy woke up. And they're now getting ready to move out of there.
They gonna get married now.
I think they were married then.
Oh, they was married then, okay.
But she didn't want Harold to put none of his money in the pot.
Yeah.
A house, and they ain't got no house.
Right.
They want to get their house first. So that ended that dilemma. Then right after that, a whole lot of chaos came out behind that nonsense. You don't want this, you don't want that. I want this, I want that. But Kevin, I had a beautiful life. Pelham and Rochelle. Very, very beautiful. I would do anything at the drop of a hat. I'd go any place that you wouldn't go. And I'd do anything that nobody else would do. I ruled my life that way. And like I told you before, I had a good time. And there was no job that I could find that was too big for me. And there was no job too small. But all I can tell you that these people that say they can't do this and they can't do that, they're telling a story. They just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
That's all, they just don't want to do it. Because there ain't no job too big or too small that you can't do. Put your mind to it. Just like if you stand up there and this guy Mike Tyson come out there and pull up your fist and look at you. And you ain't got no business running. Just pull up your fist, and when he makes one step towards you, tag him. And if you tag him good enough the first time, he ain't coming back for no more. And that's for sure. I learned that out. And my father taught me that. You know why? We were raised up with nothing but Irishmen and Italians. And they were supposed to be the leaders of the world, right? And my father used to tell me, just stay in there and whip them. You can whip them. Just don't back off them. Back into them. Don't back off them. And he told me that we did that to them. There was never no trouble. We whipped everybody in Pelham. Even Evelyn. Evelyn split one of the guys' head right down. He took a pot.
Cracked him up, what was it?
She cracked his head on, boy. And at that time, my mama had Seattle wasn't let me get in. And they ranged from step. And where we're getting these grapes, these cherries from, was a block from our house. And it was just hit this guy on his head. He was a crazy guy anyway. And we all ran on home. We lived on the first floor. 223 4th Avenue. We got in front of our house and inside, start looking out the window, and here comes Joey Cancello. He comes down there, blood streaming everywhere, and he's looking at us. And, oh, we're gonna get you, we're gonna get you, we're gonna get you, we're gonna get you. But he never come inside there. Never come inside. Then downstairs, underneath our first floor apartment, was this old crazy woman that had nothing but rats down, not rats, cats. I bet she had 50 cats down there, down the place. And we were scared of her too. But she ain't never bothered us. And she ain't never come upstairs and bothered. So we never bothered her.
All right, now I'm gonna get ready to let you rest and go get the rest of these movie stars, okay?
All right, yeah, fine.
Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, there's a whole lot I want to say. I want to find from that guy. He should be here later on. He knows where there's a pound of money, $50,000 worth, I think. And he's supposed to let me know where it is. Oh, incidentally, that does sound very cool. Gaddy Bryan was a buddy of mine. And we used to go gambling all the time. And he had a boy that was in jail. So he went up and saw the boy in jail. So when he came back, he tells me, he says, hey, he said, we gotta go out here in the county center and find this tree, this pine tree. And underneath this pine tree is filled with money. And all we gotta do is take a couple $1,000 and give it to this boy's wife. And the rest of it is ours. So you going with me? Yeah, let's go. Well, we stood up there. We stood up there for 2 days. And while we're up there for 2 days searching for this money, everybody that seen us do it would be right in there with us trying to help us find this money.
You must have had half of Westchester out there trying to find some money.
I'm telling you, the whole county center, all those people digging.
They had the basement ready for the county center by the time you was.
We lasted one more day, and then we say, we might as well give it up. Because it ain't here. If it's here, boy, he sure did put it down someplace where nobody can ever find it. So with that, good buddy, I guess I better take a break and let you catch somebody else.
All right.
And then you can come back and we'll do some more of these
Okay.
jump shots.
Good.
Giving to the younger generation.
Was that the
You know,
theme?
give them,
I don't know what's the theme. What's
what's the
The
thing?
theme is the first generation to the future generation.
That's right.
Our heritage.
Yeah. So we're gonna give them a look at our past and look at the present, and hopefully that they'll get something from it and have closer bonding between us, closer relationships, carry it right on into the future. And that's the goal of this dinner.
So,
And also,
service on Sunday, June the 10th, at 11 a.m.
1990.
1990. And as far as our rap session is concerned here, we can start it with Evelyn, and she can start from as far back as she can remember.
We're looking at this cookbook of my mother's cookbook, and takes me to Mystic, Connecticut. About 1913, I'm sure it was 1913, when my father met my mother in Mystic, Connecticut. Her house sat on the Mystic River, and most of the winter it froze over, and she was able to take a chair out the back door and learn how to ice skate. That was her words to me. In those days, her grandmother was a Quaker. They all came in by the Underground Railroad. My My great-grandfather, he landed in Mystic, Connecticut. My great-grandfather's wife landed in Pennsylvania with the Quakers, and she was brought up by the Quakers. And then she migrated to Mystic also. And that's where my grandfather met, they met and married. My mother was, they had 2 children, Gertrude and Hattie. And from Gertrude came Arlene. That was my mother. And my mother was raised primarily by her grandmother, because her mother worked out all the time. She grew up in the, she went to grammar school, but she was a child that was alone all the time. And she loved her little, after she got until about the 5th grade or so, she loved to read the little love stories. And the school was one of those strict schools, and she said they didn't like her reading the love stories, so they would send her home all the time. And she'd get in the house and fix her little bottle. She still was sucking the bottle. At about 12 or 13. She'd go out on the porch and read her love stories and suck a bottle. And enjoy it. So then she met Daddy. In fact, she met Daddy's brother first. And she wasn't too fond of him. And Daddy worked
Which
for...
brother?
Leonard.
Leonard.
Yeah, Leonard. And then she met, he introduced Daddy to her. And she liked Daddy. And they started, I guess, courting, you know, how young people do. But she was very, very young. And she'd sit on the porch with him in the evening, and as soon as he'd go, she'd go get her bottle and suck her bottle at 13. So it seems as though they decided to run away. They were in love. And she ran away, they ran away to New York. In the New York City. And she had never been to no big town at all.
Do you recall what year that was?
That was 1914. That was the year I was born. And she got a job. Daddy got her job up on St. Nicholas Avenue, which those weren't black people that lived up there then. Rich white people, Jews, lived up there. And she got her job, and Daddy went on to Newark to his job. In the meantime, she didn't know where I was coming from. All she knew, she was getting big. And finally the day come when I was to come. And Daddy was nowhere to be found. And therefore it was an elevator apartment. And the lady was out, and she went to the elevator fellas, and they delivered the baby. And I had to get a doctor. They delivered me. In the meantime, the lady came home, she said, well, you can't keep no baby here. You can't have no baby here. So the elevator boys told her on 145th Street where she could, you know, the lady would keep me. So she took me down there. She went on, kept on working. They had to work. They were down there by themselves.
You
So-
forgot to tell him Daddy was a chauffeur. That's why he'd go back.
Yeah, he'd go back and forth, chauffeur. My father was a chauffeur in Newark. He was a chauffeur for Night Lincoln. This was the composer.
Yes.
He'd go to Newark, and then he'd go back up to Mystic. Then to Newark, and then to Mystic. And Daddy liked him because it was all classical music. This man played nothing but classical music. That's why my father always was crazy about classical music. And he bought all the classical music he could buy in the world. So anyway,
It's in the music room
Yeah,
right now.
right there.
so therefore my mother used to, every Thursday was pot wash day, you know. That's what they used to call pot wash day. All the maids went out on Thursday. So she used to go down and see me on 145th Street. But she never could see me because I'd be asleep. So the lady said, oh, well, she's asleep, you know, every Thursday. So then she'd go on and do whatever, wait for my father, I guess, or whatever they did. But one Thursday, a lady caught her outside, and she said, Miss Cole, she said, I would really take my baby out of there if I was you. But she was leaving. She says, why? She says, because the lady every time that child wakes up, they feed her a teaspoonful of liquor, you know, whiskey, and keep her asleep. So Mama got so excited, she ran back to the house, grabbed me up, she says, and walked. She didn't even get clothes or anything. She just left and waited for Daddy. And she said to Daddy, Dad, this town is too fast for me. Let's go further. So they got on I think they had trolley cars then, or horse-drawn buggies, I think. And then they ended up on Railroad Avenue in Mount Vernon. They traveled up that far. And at that time, I think they had $2 or $3, and there was a railroad flat there. In those days, you could get an apartment for, say, $2 or something like that. And the Salvation Army was right there on the corner. And Mama said they went in there and they bought 2 chairs or something and a little table and 1 mattress. No, they didn't buy a mattress. They bought, they had a dresser drawer or something, and they had me in a dresser drawer, put me in a dresser drawer.
Yeah, I heard her say that.
Yeah, and they started from there. That's all they had. They slept on the floor. I think they got a blanket or something like that or something. So after that, when Daddy was working, they would get a bed. Well, it was only 50 cents for a bed, 50 cents for this, 50 cents for that, and they furnished the house. Now, we have televisions, we have VCRs, we have everything. They had nothing. They didn't even have a radio. But the people in the apartment liked to play cards, and they liked to play cards. So therefore, their little recreation, after they worked all day and took care of me at that time, and George Jr. came. She had George Jr. So they played cards every night. But it ended up that both of us contracted whooping cough. And one night when I was playing cards, George Jr. went into convulsions. And my father ran out and tried to revive him, and he couldn't. And he died. But one thing is, he never picked a card up. If you notice in life, my father never picked a card up. Mom and all of us loved to play cards.
But he swore because George died in his arms that he would never play another.
Yeah, he died right in his arms because he tried to revive him.
Where George Jr. was buried at?
Oh, he was buried in Mount Vernon.
That's a church graveyard. Do you know the name? Was that the Presbyterian church graveyard?
I don't know.
I think it's on Columbus Avenue.
So many years ago.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's down by where they were.
I think it was Columbus Avenue.
Where they,
the church graveyard.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
I think that's
almost
what
the
Daddy
edge
told me.
of Bronx and Mount Vernon. I don't know.
Yeah,
I really don't
yeah, that's
know.
it.
Yeah,
Y'all need a Salvation Army there.
Yeah.
that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. And so therefore, after that happened, they Mama was disillusioned and she didn't like it in Mount Vernon. Come on, George, we're gonna move from here. So there they started off again, I guess on a trolley car or whatever it was, and they came into Pelham.
No.
No,
Back up.
no, we went to Mount Vernon and went to Black Bottom.
Back up. Yeah, because Jim and I were born in Mount Vernon.
Yeah, but this is in Black Bottom. This is on Fifth Avenue in Mount Vernon. They were born, no, wait a minute, let me get to your birth. Well, first we moved to Black Bottom in Mount Vernon. And that was Sanford Boulevard, between Sanford Boulevard and
506
and Fifth Avenue, 4th Street. They had big apartment houses down there. They called it Black Bottom.
Yeah, they was calling it Black Bottom when I was a
Yeah,
teenager.
they called it Black Bottom for years. So there's where we lived then. And there was then came Jim. And Jim was a very sick, it was hard for Mama to keep Jim alive. Mama and Daddy tried to get all the doctors, I remember. She always tell you that was the hardest thing was keeping Jim alive because he had that bronchial chest. He couldn't breathe at the time. He didn't have asthma, he had this bronchial trouble. Then she was pregnant with Nealie. But she would always, I don't know where she was working. She was going, I was young. I wasn't even 5 years old. I remember all this. But I do remember them leaving and going to work. And when my father would come home from lunch, I would have taken all the food out of the refrigerator, took all the white out of the bread. If there was ham in there, fed it to all the kids in the apartment house. Feed everybody in the place all the food, and I'd get beat every day because I feed them all the food, everything. So one day, my father came home for lunch and he brought a big dollhouse, beautiful. To me, it might have been just some little old dollhouse, but I thought it was the beautifulest dollhouse I ever seen. And he went in the refrigerator to get the food. I remember taking that ham and that bread and taking it down the basement and feeding all the kids at because there was a lot of kids in that place. Feeding all the kids. They all looking for me because they was hungry. And my father took that dollhouse and took the axe and chopped it right in front of my face. Chopped up that dollhouse. But I deserved it, I guess, because I took all the food. He come home to eat, and the ham was gone. And I'll never forget it was a ham.
You catering
and
even
the
back
bread.
then, huh?
Yeah, I was catering. So anyway, after that, I think I got very angry about that, and I ran away. I was about 4 years old. I ran away, and I'll never forget it. How scared I was. I ran and I ended up.
Had to go a little far because Jim was born. No, it was before Jim.
No, this is all you and Jim both were born.
Well then, you was more than 4. You had to be more than 4.
Oh well, then that's before Jim.
About
That's
6
before-
or so.
No, I wasn't going to school yet. I didn't go to school till I got the Pelham. Let me get the Pelham first. So
You ain't gonna get Nealie and Jim born yet?
yeah, Jim is born, not Nealie.
Oh,
Jim is born.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah,
So
can be
I ran
five
away.
then.
you're,
You'll be
coming,
fine.
you're coming next, though.
You
Don't
can be
worry, your
fine.
turn is coming. Very shortly.
Born, you're gonna get born. Because Thompson, that's when she got Dr. Thompson, because he's the only one that really kept Jim alive, you know. So I ran away because I think I was mad about that dollhouse. I'll never forget. You know, certain things stay in your mind. And in them days, there was a beauty parlor right there across from. I know where it is now, but then I didn't. Across from Grace Baptist and next to our church, Centennial Church. There was all beauty parlors. But I must have wanted, there was a lot of kids that wanted into the beauty parlor and they had outhouses. They didn't have toilets then. And I went out into the backyard and hid in one of the outhouses out there in the back. Went down and went, and never forget it. Then it got to be night and I got scared. And I wandered back up and tried to get in the beauty parlor and it was locked. You know, I couldn't get in. I guess people were gone. And I stayed out there. I think Mom and Daddy had the police. The police finally got me, whatever it was. The police got me. And now I remember that. Now after that, next thing I remember is coming into Pelham. Mama moved from there. Then we got into Pelham. You was born, and you came in as a baby. You was a little baby.
Yes,
See, I can't remember the time in between.
I was
the
about
born.
8 months old.
Yeah.
Mama moved.
Then we came into Pelham. Then I got
Is that Inwood
frightened
place?
again.
You came
Inwood place
No.
first.
No. We came to Polici's.
Okay.
That's the first place we lived up on the hill was Polici.
Oh, on 6th
And I
Avenue.
was afraid because I couldn't understand Italians. I thought they were giants. You know, you hear them, and we lived on the first floor in the Polici's house, and the porch was right there, and they used to sit there, and talk. And I was scared, you know. So then Mom and Daddy still was going to work, and her mother. You know, I really. Let me back up a minute. When they moved, just let me put this in. They moved from Railroad Avenue. They moved to 4th Avenue. That's when Grandpa came down with Mother Bateman from Mystic. They got married and came down.
Back up a little more, because you was in Inwood place.
No, I ain't get to Inwood Place yet.
We're not there yet.
No.
You're not even in the
Yeah,
world
you're
yet.
not even
Wait,
born.
you ain't got there, you
You're
yet.
not even born.
Darsky, we got a long way to go.
I'm gonna make it fast. I'm gonna make it fast if I get to
No, that's all right.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be better stand up over in that doorway, that archway, that way you can get a picture of...
No,
We went to-
don't want to see
Oh,
everybody.
okay.
No, I don't
fine.
want to
Okay.
stand up. I'm backing up now into Mount Vernon. We haven't come to Pelham. I'm backing up because she goes to, Grandpa's coming down here.
Yeah.
So they go to 4th Avenue. And, they're going to a
Hey.
nice
Where's
little
your elbow
apartment
in
there on 4th Avenue. And that's where you was born.
What is?
Edith, your head is in the
Nealie.
camera.
Sorry.
Nearly. That's where you were born. Where?
He messed
In
up.
Mount Vernon.
I'm sorry.
But this was on 4th Avenue.
Thank you.
4th Avenue.
Oh, sorry.
In the meantime,
You wanna see
Grandpa
where your head
and
is
Mother
in that camera.
Bateman
Oh, gosh.
is married and come down. Then after that, Aunt Hattie comes down. No, Mama's mother. Mama's mother come down. That's when we move into Pelici's, and Mama's mother's on a job and Aunt Hattie's on a job. They're not living with Mama, but they got jobs, sleeping jobs. And we're up there in Pelici's house. And in the meantime, Mama's mother takes sick. All I can remember is that it was Jim and Nealie, and we're in this crib. In the corner of the room. You're a little baby, and Jim ain't too much bigger. And Mama's mother is laying in the living room, and she must have, that's why I know about heart trouble and dropsy, because I know that she take a stick and just go from like that place over there to over here to go to death, and she couldn't do anything for us. But I know Mama would tell me, I wasn't even 5 years old, to get these bottles, and I'd jump out, all of us in the crib, I'd jump out the crib and bring the bottles to put it in Jim's mouth, your mouth, and we stayed there, we never come home, I don't know. So I guess Mama said, I can't leave. I can hear now saying, George, we can't leave all these children here alone. Our mother ain't doing nothing. But every day, I'm jumping out the crib, going in the icebox, getting the bottles in the hole, and stuffing them in the mouth. I guess I drank most of them. Yes, you did. And so did Jim. So did Jim. And then after that, she must have told George we had to have somebody. So that's when they got Grandpa. They sent Grandpa up. You know, Grandpa would come every day and take care of us, you know. So then it got 5, and I turned 5.
You finally got past 5.
All I had was 4 5.
You're almost ready for retirement.
No, at 5, I went into Hutchinson School, and that was a big day. That's a big day because you never have left home. And you're afraid, you're really afraid, and there was no niggers there. I mean, there wasn't no black people there. No black folks, I'm sorry.
Strike that from
Strike
the
that out. Please strike that out. Can you erase it?
No, I'll leave it in there.
Well,
No,
there were no
that's
black
it.
folks. There were no black folks at all. So I was kind of afraid. I was that day, or 2 or 3 days. And Mama went down with me, but you know, I guess in them days they all had to go to work.
Afraid?
Because
I mean,
I didn't have my mother.
of people that weren't black. Because you lived
No,
with black, white
no, I wasn't afraid of the people. I wasn't used to being away from my mother.
Oh,
Or away
okay.
from home or whatever it is.
yeah.
They taking me and away from
Jim and Nealie.
taking me another environment in school, you know. So, but you know, you're not around people like kids are today. Oh, I'm going to school. You'd be glad to go to school. I'm the first. And I ain't never been nowhere, you know, and there I'm going to school. So I went on to school. I was afraid for a while, and then afterwards I got used to it. And there was no problems in them days of walking back and forth because you walk 10 miles and then go back and 10 miles because we lived we lived up the hill then. Then we had to move again. That's when we go to Inwood Place.
Yeah, we got
I
to
can
go
tell you
in.
about Inwood Place.
Inwood Place. You just was a baby.
I know, but Mama told me all about it.
Oh, yeah.
But when we get to Inwood Place, let me see, did we go 7 times before we go? No, went to Inwood Place.
No, you
We
went
had a
to
beautiful house there in Inwood Place.
Pasquale's house first.
We,
Pasquale.
no, we
Where
went to
Crazy
Inwood
Mary
Place.
lives.
This is before you were born.
Oh, on
Yeah.
7th Street?
On,
This is before you were born.
I mean 7th Avenue.
We're
Yeah.
in Inwood Place with a beautiful home. We had pear trees, apple trees, grape arbor, plum trees, currants, everything. You remember, Neil? We had everything up there.
What was Daddy?
You weren't
We had
born.
all that
You
on
weren't
Fourth
born.
Avenue.
What was
but
Daddy doing?
Some of it was in Miss
Daddy
Miller's
was
yard, and the other
working in
was
a
in
coal
Mr.
truck.
Camarano's yard. So we
He
had all
stopped
that
from
same
chauffeuring.
stuff
Oh, no.
right
And
there.
chickens
No.
too.
Yeah.
Plenty of
He
chickens.
filled
Plenty of
prescriptions.
chickens
My
to
father
throw
was
the
a
stones
farmer.
down
That's
the
right.
street.
Remember that?
He
Yeah.
didn't have to have a license for being a pharmacist. He was the pharmacist on 4th Avenue, Mount Vernon. He filled all prescriptions, all everywhere. That's before you had to be a licensed pharmacist. And that was a sad day when they put license on pharmacy for him because he was a good pharmacist, you know. And then after that, I have to tell you something about Inwood Place because my father was the type that when a new car came or a new motorcycle or something, he bought it. When they had Model T new one, he bought it. When they had motorcycles, he bought it. The only when he stopped buying it was when he got a whole lot of kids. But when he had them first 2 or 3 kids, he bought them. And he'd take us to Jersey. We'd be riding on the sidecar of the motorcycle. Mama be on the sidecar with us kids. And he'd ride it. And he always had a new Buick. If that new Buick came out, he bought it. If they had a new Model T, he bought it. And then after that, him and cause what's his name's gonna be there tomorrow, Saturday. Helen's father, Mr. Hayden, they had a pool room together.
Yeah,
That's how when I went
Maybe we
to-
talked about that.
I went to St. Petersburg to take Michelle to see her grandfather about 7, 8 years ago. And I walked in the house and the guy said, "You're George Cole's daughter." I said, "How would you know?" He said, "Because your father and I had a pool room in Mount Vernon together. And that pool room, Mama cooked for us. She made baked macaroni and cheese, baked beans, potato salad. They sold food in the pool rooms right on 3rd Street in Mount Vernon, a big pool room. And in them days, they made money at night. That's when Daddy started working in the coal company. After they licensed, you had to have license to be a
I think it was called West Side Coal Company.
pharmacist, yeah.
West Side
No,
No, he worked for
Westchester
Bridgman.
Service.
Westchester, no,
Westchester
East
Service.
No,
Bridgman,
Westchester
up in
Service.
East Lincoln Avenue.
East Lincoln
Bridgman.
Coal.
Bridgman, no.
Bridgman.
Yeah,
first.
Bridgman, but it was East Lincoln on the sign.
Yeah, well,
They had a sign up
That
there.
was later, Andrew.
No, that
When
was
he first hustled coal, he was working.
East
Bridgman.
Lincoln Brew Coal Company up there on, near the pool, like you go to the pool.
I know he worked there, but he wasn't working there when she told him.
and I think that was one of the greatest times, even after the other children were born, because Mom and Daddy really wasn't scuffling, you know, as bad, because it was a nice house, everything was a little different, you know, and they had recreation. They used to go to weddings in Jersey. They used to go to all kind of things over to Aunt Lucy's and everything. But then we moved from Inwood Place. In the meantime, I had, there's no need of me telling about my godfather. He had come out of First World War. He was gassed and Charlie Hazard was gassed in the First World War. He did everything, give me all kinds of things and everything. That was my godfather. He also helped them in the pool room, Charlie Hazard.
Who was Daddy's other friend? Used to always
Bill Huff.
Mr. Somerville.
Mr. Somerville and.
Well, I'm getting to the Somerville.
okay.
Now Somerville, all their family's right in church with me right now, but his one of his best. But see, that comes down.
Yeah, way
That
down the
comes
line.
down. Yeah, that don't come there. So in the meantime, we moved out of
Down there with Mike Bertha.
Yeah.
Inwood Place.
And Mr. Charles.
Inwood Place. You and I and Jim are small. He's a baby. Then we moved to 7th Avenue in Pelham. 7th Avenue. You know, right there next to, what's it? Andrew's house, right next to.
Right. The last house on that street, on that side.
Yeah. We moved there.
Was the
Mother
black man
Bateman
on the
played
house
a
at the
big
time?
part. Mother Bateman played a big part there because she made sure that all of us kids had everything. Every Saturday she would have me to get all kind of fruit, all baskets of all kind of fruit, all your little things running around. All those were born, and we every Saturday have a picnic out there. I'd fix the table and everything. That's when Doris got scared of the cat. Doris was born there too, because you remember she went up in a tree and that cat cornered her up in a tree. She always was afraid of cats from then on. But we had baskets of peaches, 2 or 3 watermelons. She did every single thing she could for Arlene's children. She went out and she bought property in Elmsford for Arlene's children. When they got older, they would have some place to build a home or something like that. So that was 7th Avenue. 7th Avenue, who else was born?
No, going on 6th Avenue.
No. You was born down in 4th Avenue, right?
4th Avenue.
All the rest was born on 4th Avenue. So after that, after we stayed up there on 7th Avenue, we moved to 4th Avenue. Now, all of us are they're all in school. All of us are in school. Jim was the biggest coward of all. He was the strongest. He was the strongest after he got to be.
Leave that out.
Why? Why? I'm getting ready to tell you something. I fought every battle in school
Harold
for
did
him.
all the easy ones.
Plus,
He knows
plus,
it. He's talked about it all these years.
Mama and Daddy had to work, and I was the oldest. And all these kids, I lost a lot of my life, young life. No matter what I did, maybe someone say I sat down and read a story or something, but I was responsible for all Mama's kids. And she used to come home from work and tell me, please, Evelyn, leave my kids up so I can see them sometime, because I sure would put them to bed at 5 o'clock. We'd clean all the house, they'd eat. I always made sure they ate, clean the house and everything, and put them to bed. Then go read stories like she used to do. Love stories. She said, Evelyn, would you please leave my kids up a little longer so I can see them? Because, see, they worked from sun up to sundown. There was no 9 to 5 then. It was sun up to sundown. When that sun went down, that's the only time you see your mother and father coming home. So all the kids all run out in the street and holler, here comes Mama, here comes Mama. She'd be coming down by the railroad. It was a great time every night. Me and Mother be coming home. So then,
But the reason why you was talking about Jim.
oh, the reason why I told Jim was a coward, Jim was a coward. He always was a coward. He would not fight his battles. I'd fight all the men that were policemen in Pelham, I'd fight him and beat him up. But if I wanted to get rid of him, he was bad, you know. But Jim was bad. I'd say, here comes the rag man. I had to worry about him no more that day.
Right. I was scared of the
He
rag
go in the
man
woods and
too.
stay in the woods. He's scared
I
to
was
death.
scared of him too.
So Daddy, here's some.
You better
Daddy.
explain the rag man for the people.
Yeah, the rag
Oh, the
man.
rag man was the man that came
jump
around
man.
with the jump man.
With
But
the
he was
horse,
a rag
With the
man.
horse and the wagon.
Wagon.
Horse in
And
the
half the
wagon.
bells.
Yeah, and them horses.
Let me tell you, the rag
Boy,
man
you
be
hear
coming
them
down the
coming down the
street.
street,
Bump,
you run
bump.
like the Clarksville.
Bump.
Yeah, you run,
They
get in your
rags,
bed
they-
somewhere.
But people could sell their rags and get them. Some people wanted to buy, make a few pennies, 15 and 20 cents.
He
You
had
could buy
that-
fish and everything else.
He had
out
that.
there.
You know how the fishermen have them scales?
Yeah.
The rag man had the scale too, and they
Wait,
put the
wait.
rags in this hemp basket. You know, I mean bag.
Who's gonna tell this?
Burlap bag.
Are you
yeah.
on that too? You on that?
I remember that.
Are you on this?
And they hook up
her
to the
voices.
thing
Oh, her voices.
and get the poundage.
Well,
That's
well,
so poundage.
Let Evelyn finish.
Well, Jim wanted to know from my father, what did the rag men come there for? He says they're coming because they're gonna take you away if you're not good. He said because they're gonna take you and put you in a machine and grind you up and make a little girl. A little girl. Oh my God! What are you telling that for? Boy, Jim would run for days. And so when he got bad in the house, and I couldn't do nothing with him, I said, "Here come the rag man." He wouldn't come back till dusk. He would not come back. He'd be up in the woods. So that's why I say he knows he was a coward. He knew I was the. And after that, I used to take these kids and go up on the railroad and pick berries. Up on Boston. It used to be Boston, Westchester. That's where the part where they tore down. It used to take all of us. Can you imagine all Mama's kids, a gob of us, go up on the railroad and take a pot and pick the berries. And them old Italians would come to. I didn't allow an Italian to call my brothers and sisters are nigger. They better not call him a nigger. And they wouldn't call him either because they know, boy, I'm telling you, I'd be a hot son of a gun. So we was up on the railroad picking these berries this day, and the guy across the street, I forget what, a Congello? Was that
Joey Congello.
Yeah, Joey Congello was up there. So he called, look at them niggas. I said to all my, and Edith was just this little, trying to get down the street. I said, get down, lock the door, and don't open it for nobody but me. And they flew. Hal, all of them, Donald, Evelyn. I took that pot and split his head wide open. You hear what I said? And flew. I was a good runner. I flew. I got in the house. I always got a beating, so I said, I'm just going to get a beating. So they're out there in the street. Here come the ambulance or something to take the boy to the hospital, I guess, or something. And when my father come home, they told him he never beat me. That's the first time he never beat me. Daddy never beat me on Connor. But he ended up in the nut house.
I know, Joey.
Yeah.
He married his first cousin.
Yeah.
They lived next door. Remember they used to fight with them
They
fucking
That was
men?
Sal.
No, that was Joe.
No,
that
Joe.
was Sal. That was Sal Congello.
That's
Sal was the guy that worked for that rug place, Kaufman over in Western Rochelle.
Okay, and he married his first cousin.
Yeah,
What's
he
her
married
name?
his first
And they used to
cousin.
fight with the pots and pans next
Yeah,
door.
her name was Congello too.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, I did not allow nobody in Pelham. And today, if I meet anybody, any of them in Pelham, all through my life, they respect me. Miss Cole, Miss Cole, Miss Cole, Miss Cole. But I would not let them call any of you kids a nigger. Or fight you.
You should have been around when I was coming up.
Yeah.
Well,
I had to fight a few of those battles myself.
well, that's good. That was good. Maybe that's where you got it from. Fight them.
You know that
fight 'em.
policeman in there, so I'm now telling what's
So
his name,
now
big guy?
after that, we're on the 4th Avenue. That's when you kids take over. You all know what happened at 4th
Have to
Avenue.
start over here.
Yeah.
Before Jim. Don't tell us about those
The
years.
main thing I remember about Mama, starting with Mama, she was a very quiet person. She rarely raised her voice that I can remember.
Just slapped it in the mouth.
I beg pardon?
Just slapped it in the mouth. Quiet.
Yeah, oh yeah, give me the back end. Pop you. But she got that from where she came,
Mm-hmm.
from the Quaker background in Mystic, Connecticut. And they never hollered and screamed and whatnot. They didn't do that. They
Yep,
talked
she
very
did.
quietly. She told me a story once about Grandpa. Grandpa was ranting and raving in the house, and they lived next door to the judge in Mystic. Grandma would go and raise all the windows.
Yes.
She didn't say a word. She'd just go and raise all the windows.
Mm-hmm.
And Grandpa would
Stop.
quiet them. He would not holler anymore. So I like quiet people because I'm quiet myself. I'm a quiet person. Yes, I am.
Tell me a little bit about,
I would say you're a
yourself
quiet person.
when you was in swimming and all that, how you used
Let
to
me
go to
get
the
to
beach.
another point about my mother. I'm talking about my mother first. I'll talk about
Okay.
Daddy next.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I don't know how she did it,
Me either.
but she would work till, I don't know, it wouldn't be dark in the summertime when she came home from work. And she'd gather
Yes.
up every one of those kids that were there and walk up to Mayflower Avenue. At this time we was living on 4th Avenue. Walk up to Mayflower, get the trolley, come into, what street is Strand on?
Mechanic Street.
Come into Mechanic Street, change trolleys, and go to Hudson Park so that her children could learn how to swim. She did it every day. It didn't rain, except for Saturday and Sunday. But she did it all through the week, every day, and I'll never know how she did that. I remember something about Daddy, but I never did it, but I know all you young ones did it. He'd play with you on Sunday, I think it was Sunday morning before we went to Sunday school or something. He'd lay on the living room floor and let you walk all over top of him.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right?
Yeah.
He did that. He
Yeah.
had his playtime with you, young
No, I
ones.
wasn't there.
Yeah.
And
Not only that,
I
he used
never
to
did
come
that.
watch
I
us
was-
swim.
I used to remember.
You know, wherever you swim, he used to come and watch us.
Right.
I remember when he was working for McNulty and Carlson garage there, and Gerhardt's had that beer garden next to it. He used to bring home a big pot of clam chowder every Friday night.
Oh, wow.
Do you
That's
remember
why,
that?
that's why I love clam. No, but that's why I love clam chowder, I guess.
Yeah.
Gee, I don't know. We went to Mystic when we was camping one time with Joe and myself and Donald and Mildred. We went up to Mystic and we took a picture of the house where Mom was born and pond in back where she learned to ice skate. And it was quite a nice experience being there and seeing that. Because I don't know why
That
all
was
the
the
years when
river.
we were children.
That was just like the Hutchinson River. That was part of the. That was they call that the river.
I don't know. I don't know
Mystic
why.
River. That's what she said.
I don't know why all our life with Mom and Dad that we never took a trip to Mystic while they were alive. Never
No, we
went
sure
there.
didn't.
And so
Always went to Jersey.
we made a point to go there. Yes, I can remember Jersey because every summer.
Well, it's possible that they didn't have any roots up there at that point.
Yeah, because he said
Yes.
Grandpa
Yeah.
came
Johnny and I
down.
went up
There's
there. Went
nobody
right
up
to
there.
her house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But every summer we'd go to, like we say, to Aunt Lizzie's, and Walter and I were about the same age, and we used to have great fun, you know, we were just kids, but we had a good time, you know, riding on the things that, like Miles and Tony might be doing, you know. But I remember, the one thing I remember about her is getting up in the morning and washing up, and on this big round dining room table was this bowl of cereal and fresh fruit, peaches and strawberries. And, oh,
And Eagle brand evaporated.
yeah, right. It was wonderful.
I never got that at
Was that
home. I
it?
thought that was the best
Was that
stuff.
in New Jersey?
Yeah,
Yeah, on Lizzie's.
Delvin
Delvin
Avenue.
Avenue.
Yeah, I know 63.
That was
62 or
Yeah.
63.
And the Passaic River ran right by the house in the
Yeah,
back.
that was great fun over there.
Yeah, that was
good times.
that's where she introduced rice for cereal.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I ain't
I
rice
never
for
had
cereal
rice
ever
for cereal
since.
till I went there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the cornmeal. Remember we used to have cornmeal for cereal?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not much of a talker.
We'll have to wait for Andrew, so you're gonna have to talk.
I'm gonna have to talk some more.
Because
Yeah.
Andrew ain't
Let's
gonna
see, what else
let
can I
nobody,
think of?
you ain't gonna feel right if somebody get ahead of him.
When we was living on 4th Avenue, I remember Mama riding a bicycle, and nobody thought she would still do that.
I think I remember that.
Yes, she did. She got a
Yeah,
bike.
I think I remember that.
When we was living
Now
on
that you
4th
mention
Avenue, I remember the day that Edith said she doesn't remember any of us, and we was right. We better be there all the time. And they was out there playing, and we had picket fences out there in the back, picket fences. And Lord
In the
have
front,
mercy,
right?
Edith playing with those boys. She played with her brothers, and that's all she played with brothers. And she played so rough that she hung herself on that picket fence right here, almost killed her.
How much it must cost?
Yeah, I
Right here.
remember.
Hung
I
herself.
was the one that
Just
pulled
missed
you
my
off
Pulled her
that
off,
fence.
yeah, on that
The
picket.
doctor gave me a quarter for not
Almost,
crying.
almost
Andrew
died.
said he was the one.
I was the one that pulled you off of that
Almost
fence.
died.
Remember that?
I remember Daddy was coming home for lunch.
Yeah.
And he took me right
And
to the
then we
hospital.
was talking
Almost
to the
died. I was
we
right
was
there with
talking
you.
to
when you hung yourself.
those two
No, I was trying to follow you all. You was playing in baseball.
yeah.
And you
but,
went over the fence.
Yeah, but then we
And so I tried to go
Get over
the
the
right,
fence.
right, and then we was also talking to the Costello, was it?
Danny Shano.
No, not Danny Shannon.
Shannon.
No, what's it?
Shannon.
That big woman that used to live next door to us from the south, from Alabama.
Miss Cockrell was.
Cockrell.
Cockrell.
from
Yes.
Alabama.
Cockrell.
She was
Didn't you have a son,
Portuguese.
Walter
Yeah,
Cockrell?
Walter
or-
Cockrell.
Yeah.
And yeah, we was talking to them. They were sitting on the
Yeah,
porch.
I forgot about her.
Yeah,
She was Portuguese, Andy.
I know it.
But you go ahead and tell where you.
No.
Start your story from the beginning.
We had some happy days together in Pelham. She told me about the time I was born on Inwood Place, how Dr. McClendon came in the horse and buggy and delivered me on the 23rd of February 1923. And
And you was a beautiful baby.
All right.
You was, you was.
I think
And,
that's who, I
You
think
must
that's
have
who,
been a beautiful baby.
Grandpa Bateman is home.
Then,
I think it's Andrew.
That's right. You was beautiful. That's it, that's
then,
it.
Yeah.
she used to have, when we moved to 223 4th Avenue, we used to have every other Sunday or every third Sunday, we used to have the medleys over for dinner. And,
From New Jersey.
from New Jersey.
No, we're not on every other Sunday.
Well, once a month,
Yeah.
once a month or whatever. And she would have everything spread it out. Turkey, ham,
Always 2 weeks.
Rice bread.
what have you. She
Always
made,
made Jell-O.
she made
Jell-O.
homemade Parker House rolls, which were raised overnight. And she used to make homemade bread and
Plenty of vegetables.
all kind of vegetables. She had loads of food. And then there was times when we used to go out and bring back apples, and she used to make homemade jellies and grape jelly. And Daddy used to
Make the beer.
make the root beer and home brew down the cellar,
Yeah.
And soda for the kids.
and soda for the kids, right?
Root beer.
Soda for the,
Oh, soda. Oh.
Yeah,
well, root beer. Yeah.
root beer, yeah.
Yeah.
And
He had that capping machine and everything.
Yeah.
he,
Yes.
but the most wonderful time of my life was spending with my mother while I was being raised. Daddy was sort of a laid-back person. He watched over his sheep, so to speak. And he, whenever anything went wrong, or we were bad or anyway, he used to tell Mama to report it to him, and he would take care of us. And he used to have a leather strap about that long, which he hung in the cellarway. And Arlene, all she had to do was say, George, Andrew, or Harold, or Jim was bad today. And he would get that leather strap every time and lay it to us. But I got more of a family relation out of the Cole family through my mother. Even though my father had to play his part in it. And
Yeah, he did play a part there. A big part.
Big boy.
well, getting back to our days in Pelham before we came to New Rochelle, we used to have to fight the Italians down there. And we used to have things weren't all that rosy down there then. And
That was because of the Italian-African War, Mussolini.
yeah,
We used to fight over Mussolini.
and we had a real
I mean, that's what
Haley's-
we had a rough time of it too. We didn't have it all peaches and cream. And kids today got televisions and video cameras and everything you can think of under the sun today, which we didn't have. We had to play with marbles
Take a giant step.
and kick the can and stuff like that to keep ourselves
Bazooka.
Time goes see.
Yeah. Yeah, good game.
in shape. So,
Hopscotch.
yep, rope. And we had a time there in Pelham where we used to have a May Day like they have in other cities, a May Day in the schoolyard where we had all kind of athletic activities and games and potato sack running and all that stuff, and ice cream and all that other stuff to go along with it, cake. We also, I want to tell this story about Jim. Getting back to you say Jim was a coward. Jim wasn't so much of a coward because he had that Indian motorcycle and that Harley Davidson motorcycle, which,
That was afterwards.
well, that was during my days in Pelham. He had the Indian.
She's talking about when he was young.
I'm talking about when he was young. When I told you on that tape that when he got grown, he was a giant.
Okay. Okay, I buy that.
Yeah.
And so anyhow, he was a daredevil motorcycle
Yeah.
rider. There wasn't many motorcycles on the road anyhow. And
Thought he could drive
he happened to get a hold of one at that time, and he used to do everything with it.
Ride, like
turn
that.
around in
Ooh,
circles.
Everything.
He comes out
And-
Lincoln Avenue on his head.
Yep.
Yeah, riding,
On his head.
standing on the seat and holding the handlebars. That's how he broke his collarbone on on Lincoln Avenue there. He took a spill. And some of the things that happened in Pelham, I used to deliver Liberty magazines, trying to win a bicycle through brownies and greenies coupons, which they give you for selling so many magazines.
Boy, what a member you got. Oh,
And
God.
I was up at the railroad station, the New Haven and Hartford railroad station up there selling them. And the Eccleston boy that lived on Fifth Avenue at that time came over to me and said, I think your brother just got hit by a car, and there wasn't many cars out then. You know, it was you only see one or two cars on Lincoln Avenue. The trolley car always ran off that way. Well, he was running across the street, and his right jaw, left jaw got caught in the car handle, and it ripped
That was
a
Donald.
scar.
Yeah.
Donald,
Yeah.
I mean.
That was Donald.
Yeah, Donald.
Yeah.
Ripped the scar right up his face.
It went right in his
Yeah,
head.
well, you know what happened?
Blasted it
Because
there.
I was going to the store,
Yeah,
and then Miss Russo asked him to go to the store for her.
yeah.
And he was running to catch me and running across the street, and he ran into the car.
Right.
I remember
Got
that.
caught in
He
the car
was
end.
only about 6
That's
or
why he
7
has
years
that
old
ugly
then.
scar
Yeah,
on
that's
his
about
face.
how old he
He was about
was.
6 or 7
Yeah.
when that happened.
Yeah.
I remember it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he survived that.
Increase.
He went into the Malvern Hospital and stayed about a month or two.
Yeah, it was
And-
bad. That was-
Yeah, I remember that.
And the things that I remember about
When he came home.
the Coles, like Harold and I used to have a wagon, and we had the old coal stove, 'cause we lived in a cold water flat then, and we used to have to get the wood. So we used to go down to the A&P store where Mr. What's his name? Anyhow, doesn't matter. He was a jolly old guy.
Mr. A&P.
Yeah.
It was probably the A&P. It was probably
He,
the A&P then.
He gave us wooden boxes, because everything in those days was bought in wooden crates.
Yeah.
And we used to get the wooden crates and break them out, load our wagon. And Harold would push and I would pull back home with it. Then on Friday nights, we used to get all the fish,
Christie, that was
all the
crazy, but
fish
I
that was
remember
left
you
over
mentioned
from
that.
the
Yep, remember I told you that?
from that
Keith?
day of selling their business. We used to get all the fish that was left over and take it home. Mom used to fry it up. Evelyn used to help. And we used to have the two Robinsons down on the corner, you know, Julie Robinson.
They came
That was
over.
and
my
they
best
came
friend.
over and had,
Yeah, had fish.
and
Her father.
also,
Barney.
no, the people next door, there was 2 white boys.
Hillsacks. Hillsacks.
Mm-hmm.
Illsacks, yeah. And they came over.
Eccleston's.
Eccleston's, yeah. They came over. And we used to have a happy time just eating fish.
In the yard with Bob.
Yeah.
How
Oh,
can anybody forget Bob?
Bob.
Forget
Bob.
Bob. Beautiful
Bob
dog.
was our collie dog. He looked like
That was your turn.
he looked like Lassie.
Yeah.
He looked like Lassie, but he
He
was a real good collie.
Let us play with him.
And we used to ride him,
Mhm.
sit on his back, and he used to carry us all through the house. And but Bob got so old
He
he
used to
couldn't.
lay in the middle of the street.
We had him for 14 years,
They wouldn't run over him.
and he used to lay right out
Car
on
go
Lincoln
round.
Avenue, on the car tracks, on the trolley tracks, and
Lincoln Avenue.
Daddy used to work in the garage right there, McNulty and Carson, and he used to have to come out and get Bob off the tracks.
Yep.
And getting back to my Army days, I have to throw this in. I was in the CCCs first. And there I was discharged. The night that I was discharged from the CCCs, I was in Absecon, New Jersey railroad station, and I heard that Japan just bombed Pearl Harbor. So that got my blood up. And I had to volunteer. So I volunteered for the tank corps. And Mama was there to see me off at 241st Street Railroad Station. And both of us had tears in our eyes at that time. Because we didn't know whether we were going to see each other or not again. And so maybe Hal could tell a little bit more about his service days and stuff like that.
You didn't tell. You
You don't remember?
about
You
when
don't
was
remember
wrong?
McNulty's when Daddy?
Oh, I was
when,
on
was it
Okinawa.
Andrew that went into McNulty's garage and was fixing the bike?
No, I'll tell you
Wait,
about
he's talking
that.
about-
Oh, okay.
Going backing up a little.
No,
When
Harold.
I was
Yeah,
when I was coming
No.
up before I was 18,
I'm telling you.
I was always liked trees. Trees fascinated me. I used to play Tarzan. I used to jump from one tree to another tree, and I broke my arm. I missed a limb and broke my arm one day, and
And you never did that again.
never did it.
Harold, weren't you both in the cavalry together?
He was in the tank battalion.
Oh,
He
but it was,
he
but it
was,
was down in Fort Hood.
he was
Fort
down,
Hood,
he was
Texas.
first he was in Fort Knox and then he left and went to Fort Huachuca.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Okay, my Army days were in the tank corps. I went to Absecon, not Absecon, Camp
No, Doris Walker.
Camp Hood, Texas first I went in.
Yeah.
I mean Camp Hood, Fort Dix,
Fort-
Texas,
Fort Hood, Fort Hood.
Fort Dix, Long Island.
Fort Dix.
Fort Dix, New Jersey.
Oh, you went to
No,
Camp
Upton.
Upton?
Camp Upton.
Camp Upton, that's
Camp
right.
Upton.
That's right.
New York.
New York, Long Island. And then I went to
Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Fort Knox, Kentucky, right. And then I went to Louisiana, another tank outfit there. That's where I joined my real outfit. It was in Louisiana. 758 Tank Battalion. And we went from there to
Fort Huachuca.
Fort Huachuca,
Arizona.
Arizona. And then I left that outfit, and I went with
You
the
went in the wrong direction.
769, the 769, the 679 infantry,
Which is a famous infantry.
which was a famous
Yes.
infantry, right?
769.
769.
Yeah, 769.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to Hawaiian Islands and stayed there for 9 months. First I was put in the port of debarkation in Seattle, Washington, and stayed there for about a month. And then we went to Hawaii, where we were island guards. And I used to ride a Jeep from Queen City, which is part of Hawaii, all the way up to Schofield Barracks, which was about 30 miles away. And I used to have to carry the sick bay up there. The guys that were sick for that day. And then my company commander sent me out to Okinawa. He needed replacements. And it was only picking out sharpshooters to go to Okinawa. So I was on that list. And well, I came home February the 18th, 1946. And I met my brother Harold.
When you was on Okinawa,
Did
What
you meet me
condition?
before then?
what condition was that island in when you went over there?
We had a good relationship.
Andrew, they didn't have all those luxury hotels and everything.
Oh,
now.
no.
What condition was that island on when you
It
got
was-
on it?
There wasn't a thing on it. Nothing.
But you
Just
Nothing but
Japanese.
rocks.
In Japanese.
Japanese and caves.
Mm-hmm.
There was one little building there they called the Naha University, which I don't know what they used it for because it was so small.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, but they had a road that went all the way around the island, and then it had a circle, just like you would see around here in the States,
Mm-hmm.
a traffic circle, you know.
Mhm.
And but we had to be careful of the Japs, and we had to. We were sent out in the hills. This was right after the war. We were sent out in the hills to bring in so many thousand Japs that were up there without any information that the war was
Oh,
over.
yeah.
And
That could be
well, I
dangerous.
came
They
back
run
in
away
one
and that the war was
piece.
over.
That must have been dangerous.
So, but some of my buddies seen it worse than I did. They got killed. That's about all I got to say.
Well, I'm Harold Cole, and I'm about one of the best looking Coles there is in the family.
That's because you look like me.
But what I want to tell you about the Cole family is that I probably came along when things wasn't so good, because it looked like we'd be wanting for something every day. I know that my father was working pretty good in the coal yard, and he was working for McNulty and Carson after that. But to tell you how proud my father was and how he protected his family was
Yes.
that he was working for McNulty and Carson, and my brother was in there fixing his bicycle in the garage. So Mr. McNulty came over there and told my father that he wanted to get Jim out of the garage. He says he's over there fixing his bicycle. He'd be out there. He says, I want him out of the garage. My father said, well, if you want him out, I'm going out too. So that's how we got on welfare.
We never went on welfare.
We was on relief, and what we was on the NRA. Daddy
No,
was
we was
working
on-
the WPA.
We was on, they gave us that food stuff.
Either.
I swear to God, we was never on welfare.
Daddy was on WPA.
Yes, he was.
He worked WPA.
That's the same thing as
It's
welfare.
not welfare.
What do you think it is? They giving you your money. We didn't
Yeah,
have
but
no money.
you worked for it. In other words, he wasn't sitting down getting money from
No,
welfare.
but we got handout too.
We got
besides
the
his
canned
work.
You
food.
got
He did-
clothes and you
We
got
got clothes,
you got
we got
clothes
food. That's
and you got
welfare, Edith.
food stamp or whatever they get
What's a
food.
form?
I
Oh,
ain't
that's
remember.
what, no,
That was the
that
form of
Yes, she
welfare
was.
at that time.
She was.
Yeah.
That ain't
At
welfare,
that
but
time,
that's
that was-
city allowance. City allowance is
So,
different.
anyway,
a little
went on
different than
This was
welfare.
the poorer times that I came along in the Cole family. I didn't come along in none of the good times, but as we all said, that we were very strong, knitted together family, and we loved each other, and we had plenty of things to do to make us happy. I mean, I don't care if we were fighting or if we were playing. We were a very happy family together. We, 90% of us, like Nealie said, knows how to swim. All the boys were sports-minded.
We could float.
That's
Uh,
100%.
And girls.
Who don't know how to swim?
Yeah, who don't know how to swim in this family?
We could
know,
float
I know.
now.
Well, we
We
just
don't have
found
to
out that
swim
we could
now. We could
100%.
float.
100%. That's right.
And Andrew
Jim
says
took
now
me-
that we're so big
Jim
that we all
took me
can
and
float.
Nealie, Nealie, do you remember when Jim took us out in the middle of the sound in the rowboat
Oh,
and
my
threw us over in the ocean and we never did swim? But we could dog paddle up to the boat.
Paddle up to the boat,
Then we
Pull
learned
the
how to
boat
swim.
away. Paddle some more,
Paddle some
pull the
more.
boat away.
It's,
That's how
That
I
was a
learned how to
terrible
swim.
thing. We could have been drowned that day. We was way out.
we used Wilson Woods. I guess everybody's familiar with that place. We used that for playground, for hide and seek,
yes.
for lovers
Yeah.
lanes, for
Ice
everything,
skating.
picnicking and
We ice
everything.
skated on that lake,
And
The reservoir.
the reservoir, whatever it is, yeah.
I'll tell you another good point, highlight of our family when we were bad as hell every day. Somebody had something to tell on us. And
We broke Mr. what you-
when my father came home from work, he'd sit on that porch and put one finger in his mouth and whistle. And
Everybody.
Everybody came running.
all his kids came running home.
That's what I mean.
And we went through the door, and he'd whack. And as you go through the door, you would get a whack. But that last one, he would sit there and grab your hand, baby, and he'd have a tune to play on you. One day,
Not to be
One day
with.
I sat down next to him. I says, Dad, I says, why do you whip us so much? I know we bad, but it looks like you get a kick out of whipping us, you know? You get your cookies off or something. But he said, I says, you know, it's not right for you to be whipping us like that. So from that time on, my father never whipped us no more. I don't know until Keith and Andrew came. But he never whipped us no more after
Yeah.
that. Another
Yeah,
thing.
that's what you over. He went to retirement when
He
not
went-
you.
That's talking about
Not you.
how hard he was.
Never beat me too much.
Nobody never asked him to do no things like smoking or stuff like that. That was bad, you know, drinking or something. But Andrew and me, we was walking to school and all our crowd was smoking but us, right?
That's right.
So I sat down at the table that morning the next day. I said, Daddy, can me and Andrew smoke? Knowing that I'm younger than Andrew. 2 years at that time between children make a lot of years, you know. So I knew that I wasn't smoking, but I figured if he gets Andrew started, that I would come along, you know, and smoke soon. So he says, well, you guys can smoke, but I'll have to get what I want you to smoke. So that was all right. So he came back home that night and he bought both me and him a pipe. A corn cob pipe. Now, not a dust pipe, but a corn cob pipe. Right? So we smoked them corn cob pipes for maybe about a month. They went by the wayside, we started smoking cigarettes. But he didn't say nothing when he seen us come home smoking cigarettes. He didn't say nothing. He just got rid of the corn cob pipes. Corn cob pipes, I guess, because we were young, we wanted our cigarettes, to be, you know, wanted our tobacco to be filtered. But anyway, after that, next high point I want to get in the family is that we, being that we were poor, we didn't have the opportunities that you children have today as far as education and stuff is concerned. But as a proven fact is that we all did very good as far as I'm concerned, and we held our head above water. And as Evelyn stated earlier today, that none of us have no records of being in jail. None of us are no drug addicts. And we may have a few alcoholics around, but I think most of us quit drinking too. But we had some good times drinking. There may be a few of us left.
Bring it up to Rochelle soon.
But I don't, I don't want to bring all that up because generally all families are the same. They have the same fun, they have the same hardships and stuff like that. The one point I want to bring out is the highlights of like I just said, of our education and how we bared it and how we came out, like I would say, smelling like a rose as far as 9 children in one family is concerned. And 11, 9, I only know 9 living. So what we had, the bread we had to share and the stuff we had to do, we all worked together and did it like most any other family does now. You know, it's worth their weight and waste their salt and all. So anyway, as far as coming to New Rochelle, let me get back to Andrew and his tree jumping thing.
Yeah.
We had Andrew, me, and we had a friend named Larry Farr. We go to the orchard every day. We go to the orchard and we'd be picking apples and pears and stuff like that. And so me and Larry, we climbed up on the tree, and Andrew climbed up on another tree that was alongside us. So where me and Larry was, there was another tree real close to us, And at that time, everybody was talking about Tarzan the Ape. We had Johnny Weissmuller in the movies and everything, and they were talking about Tarzan the Ape. So me and Larry, he jumped over into the tree next to him, and after he jumped over, I jumped over. But the trees were close, right? So Andrew, where he was, the trees was a little farther apart, So Andrew, he seen us jump, so he wanted to jump. So he got out the tree, he jumped out, he said, Tarzan leaps, And before you know it, he done hit the ground. And he busted himself out pretty bad. I could never go to the hospital to see him. I had to wait for him to come home. But Andrew hang out with us, and he used to be, he'd always have something for you to laugh about. I don't know, he did a sketch in school called about Jimmy Durante and stuff.
Yeah.
But everybody would be laughing at Andrew. But Andrew was strong. Andrew, I couldn't beat Andrew.
And nobody else.
No, I could whip Andrew. I'll put it that way. I could whip Andrew, but I couldn't whip the guy that he was whipping that was messing with me. Now, he would whip all my enemies, man. You know what I'm talking about? If they mess with me, he'd come along and kick their butt. But now, Andrew couldn't whip me until he put his hands on me. Once he put his hands on me, then I was gone because he was strong as a bull. But if I could stay off and just punch him with my hands, he could never beat me. We'd fight all day long. But Andrew and me, we came out pretty close. And there's 2 more brothers in my family. As I watched sitting them growing up, was Don and Keith. They came out very close. Also, my sister, Edith, as far as getting along in the neighborhood. Now, if some guy come up to me and start some garbage, and I knew I could whip him, I'd give it to Edith. I'd give him to Edith. I'd say, you take care of him.
Not Councilman. You know that big policeman down in Pelham now?
Yeah.
Mike,
The
Flipper.
Yeah.
I banged his head up against that
He's
McNulty's garage
I
and
beat
tore him up
all the
one
rest
day.
of them. I beat all the rest of them.
He's got so good. He's got so good, she started fighting me, man.
She gonna take on the heavyweight.
I even kept the girls in New Rochelle from coming down to Pelham.
Yeah.
All his girlfriends.
But generally,
I was very jealous of
This
Harold.
girl, she should always be indebted
We
to me
had-
because I saved her life one day.
as
Yes,
Evelyn
you
said,
did. You
we
kept
had
Donald
good,
off. You sure
good,
did.
religious.
She was gonna kill me.
upbringing, but as we got older, we all strayed away from into different religions. I have a hard time with my religion because of my military background. When I was younger, now it's different, but when I was younger, I never did believe that I could serve God and serve my country too. And I was a very dedicated soldier.
Yes, you were.
Yes,
And
you were.
I always figured that if I could do. I still feel that way today. Anytime I can do anything better to help out my family or my friends, that I'm going to do it. And I feel very strong about it. I think our family, the young ones and the old ones, should help each other regardless of what it is. They shouldn't look past each other. They should try to help each other, because God is going to make sure that you get yours back. Don't worry about it. Your debt's going to be paid. So,
Amen, brother.
as far as the Cole family is concerned, I think they're 100%, and I think their children and their offspring make me so damn proud. I was here burying my sister in November, and I hadn't seen them in 10 years. And they made me feel so good. That's one reason why I'm back here now. And I'll let my sister Edith finish.
Got me crying.
Along, he said, at hard times. And I think that I came along at a time when everything was right with me, my mother,
2 years
and my
later?
father.
2 years later.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you did.
I had a good childhood. I feel very happy about my childhood. My father never with me. My mother did, but I knew why, you know. If you couldn't leave the backyard, remember? We used to try to sneak through the hedge. And my mother would see us, and she'd let us get the switch, peel it, bring it to her. And it better be a good switch, too, because if it wasn't, she was going to go get one and whip you. But my mother was good. I feel very, very sentimental about my mother, because all the time that I was coming up, when I was a little girl, I remember she worked. And I used to hate for her to work. And I used to stand at the window waiting when we lived on Fifth Avenue. I remember I used to wait at the window. We had buses then, you know, they had started buses. And I used to wait when she got off that bus to see my whole world lit up. And of course we had to contend with Aunt Hattie at that time, so I guess I was extra happy to see her. And I used to miss her so much that after school, when she worked up at the Women's Exchange on Wolf's Lane, I used to walk all the way up there and stand there with my nose to the window, watching them in there, you know, all the rich ladies coming in there and buying stuff, waiting for her to come out. And when she came out, she finally used to tell the ladies, it used to be dark, this was winter time. And they came out there and let me come in and wait in the back with my mother. And then we used to get on the bus and go back home, and she'd buy me cookies, or she'd have a candy bar, you know, and it was so nice. But Daddy, he was always good to me. He always let me eat out of his plate. You know, there were so many good little things, but the thing that I loved the most, I used to love my brothers. I loved them to no end. I followed them everywhere. They used to beat me up, push me out of the way. I'd go back.
Those were the older brothers, right?
Go back. Them two right there.
Oh.
Right there. They used to be playing cards with Larry Farr, but you know, up in the lot.
Yeah, well.
And all I did was just be peeking through the hedge. Now, I'm not bothering nobody. I'm not, you know how they play the cards? They would put the cards, all the baseball men on bases.
Yeah.
They have a pitcher,
Yeah.
the catcher, the
Now
guy
we
at
have a
bat.
marble.
Then they get the marble, they hit the marble, and they run the cards to catch the ball and run around the bases and stuff. I just watched, you know. They didn't want me to do that. They see me peeking through the hedge, then they scoop me out of there. But I used to follow them anyway. And then I remember one time when we lived on Fifth Avenue, it was the bakery, if you remember that building, had a storefront.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was nice in the back. Had the kitchen, and Doris and I had our own room. And then we had the living room, the dining room, the big dining room. And then the living room was like out in the storefront. And then off to and Aunt Hattie slept along the, when you came out.
Wasn't she?
No, she was there.
Oh, she was there.
Yeah,
And
she
she
was there.
slept out on the side there, you know, when you're
Yeah.
coming from the kitchen.
Oh, yeah, I
from the
remember.
kitchen.
And then when you go down the hallway, the boys were down there,
Yeah.
All right? So every time, if they were in their rooms back there, if I came from the kitchen to the living room, they would snatch me back there and beat me up. They would all the time. So anyway, that's why I developed defense, you know, in fighting, because I used to have to fight them all the time. And there are other things that I remember going back to 4th Avenue, which was so nice. My mother had a dining room, big dining room, and she had the touch sideboard. She had 2 sideboards. Remember,
Serving.
one serving, one there, and one over here. She had the best silver. I used to open the drawer just to look at the silver and stuff, and the napkins and everything. And then at one time, remember
She had
that?
a lot of linen.
Yeah, because I remember when Aunt Lizzie and them and all used to come over for dinner,
China
everything would
closets,
be so beautiful.
Glasses and everything.
And in the living room, she had the what do you call that? The secretary. We called it the secretary.
Right.
It was like a desk, you know, that goes out. And she had those little monkeys that see no evil,
Hear no
hear
evil.
no evil,
Talk no
speak
evil.
no evil, yeah. And then she had that little stove there in the living room. Who burned herself on that stove?
I did.
Somebody burned herself.
I did. I was laying in the living room one night on the floor in the summertime, and oh no, it wasn't in the summertime. It was in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
And and no, I was thinking about something else.
That's all.
And I was dreaming, you know. I was kicking this
You was
wagon
dreaming?
down the hill,
You was dreaming it was
and
winter,
I kicked
and so you
the
liked
stove. And Daddy came out of the whatchamacallit, and cause I yelled when I kicked it, you know, cause the thing was red hot.
And the
hot.
coals fell
Yeah.
in, yeah.
And boy.
Anyway, getting back to describing this
Daddy
house.
Daddy jumped up and he said, "What's all that racket in there?" And I said, "Andy just kicked the stove."
Oh, and okay, I'm gonna go on with the house, because I used to love living in that house. And we had a front porch, and we had a foyer between. There was a door to the living room, and there was a door to the kitchen, and then you went upstairs to Miss Russo's house, and then Mr. McQuay, Mr. and Ms. McQuay lived up on the 3rd floor, and they loved me too, and I loved them.
Right.
They used to let me go look at the plants. Now, see, we used to take pleasure out of looking at people's plants. You know, she had beautiful plants. She had like those spider plants.
Yeah, I remember.
I used to be fascinated with them. And they were very nice to me. And Miss Russo was nice, but what happened one time in Miss Russo, 2 things happened with Miss Russo. She wanted, what?
You only got a little tape.
Oh,
So
2 things happened with Miss
about the
Russo.
family.
First, well, this is the family.
Oh, okay.
She was family, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
She asked me to change the diaper of her daughter's baby, and I pinned the diaper to the skin. And the baby was crying and everything. I pinned the diaper to the skin. The other thing was, I went to the store for her, and she gave me an egg sandwich, right? And the egg sandwich, the egg was fried in olive oil.
Yeah.
And I put as I went out the door, I said, "Oh, thank you, Ms. Russo." When I went out the porch, you know, the yard, the chickens are over there in the side. I threw the sandwich over there to the chickens. Same way Keith and I used to, and Donald used to go up to the top of the house, the 3rd floor.
We used to go up the back way, you know,
Go up the
upstairs,
back porch up there.
and then throw
And there
rocks
was a
down
drain
there,
pipe that ran right down
and
into
we
the
used to
chicken
run
yard.
those-
We
we
used
used
to
to
take a
run those
lot of
chickens
rocks
crazy.
up there.
We used to run those
Put them
chickens
in the
crazy.
drain pipe, and he'd come out there with his gun, said he was going to shoot us and all that stuff. But them chickens would go.
Mr. Congello, yeah.
Yeah.
Mr.
Not
Congello.
Mr. Congello, Mr.
Yeah.
Camerano.
Mr. Camerano.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
We'll get it right. Mr. Camerano, yeah.
So anyway, there's one little serious note that I do want to say. My mother, she taught us a lot of good things. Like I say, my mother didn't go to church that often, but she sure lived the life.
You stole my
There was
life.
There was nothing that I could say about my mother that she didn't strive to do everything that God wanted people to do. And she did it all the time. And she was very faithful to my father. I resented it at times when I got older, because I used to think she was very foolish, but I think that that was good. Now that I look at it, I think that was good. There was something that she loved, and she was true and faithful to him just the way she was true and faithful to her children. And the other thing was, my father, he was a very, very good man. I hated him sometimes, as all children hate their fathers when they're teenagers in rebellion. But he taught me a lot, and I think he started me really being serious about myself. Because he told me many, many times that I wasn't going to do anything, because when you're a teenager, you don't go to school all the time, and I fooled around and wait for reports and stuff, and I was a little bit wild, I think. And he was kind of disappointed, and he used to tell me all the time that I was going to be like all the rest, I wasn't going to do this, I wasn't going to do that. So I just said to myself, well, I don't know, unconsciously or consciously, he made me angry, and I said, well, I'm going to show him, So that's what motivated me on to begin with. But then, as I went on, I got interested in studies and everything, and then I started doing it for myself. But I say that to say this. I understand today why he felt that way. He had so many children, and he wanted to see one of them graduate from high school. And I think out of his frustration, and we're down to the last one, he's been through 9 kids, So I said, I understand the way he felt. He felt bitter. And I can't blame him for that. So I understood the way he felt, and I wrote a college paper on it that I have home. And I can't say anymore. I feel my mother gave me that sense of family.
Well, when you say graduate from high school, it was 3 of us that graduated. I went all the way to senior year and missed 2 points from being in the class up there, because I went over to Rochelle High School because I was taking care of myself and working for Scotto's up there when I left home.
Well, he told me that nobody graduated.
Oh, we did, and then Nealie and I went to Yonkers and took the
You
test,
graduated
and we
from
both
high
could have
No,
certificates.
I'm talking about when I was going to high school. He told me that no one else had graduated.
Well, we graduated.
Doris didn't graduate.
Nealie and I did. We graduated
From high school, from Pelham High School?
No, we went to senior
That's
year, but
what
we
I'm trying
needed
to
2
tell you.
points.
Yes, but Evelyn, that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, excuse me.
You're on.
You
It's
straighten up
Hollywood.
there. Fix your hair.
Oh,
You on camera.
whew.
Been a long time, huh?
Yeah, the little old lady that lived in the shoes, she had so many children she didn't know what to do, so she had 2 more. Me and Donald. But we were the rich kids
Oh, gosh.
on the block.
Yes.
I mean, we had everything. We went to Harvard. We graduated from Harvard with PhDs. We rode around in Mercedes. But all kidding aside, there was so much said here tonight, and it's amazing how much you remember, but you forget. And it's laying dormant in your self-conscious.
Yeah.
And everything that was said here, I could relate to. And Miss Cole was a great mother. And George, in his own perspective, was a great father. And being a father myself of many children, I know how hard it is. But I didn't know this when I was growing up, but I know it now. And it's very, very difficult for a father to try and get all of the things out of their children that they wish for. And even for their own good. Not so much for my good, for my benefit, but for their benefit, so that they can go on and live a decent life for their own self without the use of drugs and those those kinds of things. And so I sympathize with my father, and I give him 3 A's.
Mhm. Amen.
One of the things I wanted to say was, I remember back on 4th Avenue, and I was born in 1930. And I started in Hutchinson, I imagine 1935, I would say, if not 1936. But I remember in the first grade, I don't know, it was something I must have did or something I didn't do, but this teacher slapped me in the face. And I was quite young, so it didn't hurt. I didn't cry or anything. But that night, when we were sitting at the dinner table, all of us were sitting at the dinner table because we all ate together.
That's right.
And
I was
my
getting
mother
ready to
said,
put that in.
my mother said to me, she said, "Keith, who slapped you?" So I said, "Nobody slapped me. I had forgotten about it." That's, that's how naive I was. And it wasn't nothing for a teacher to slap you in school anyway at that time. I mean, that was a okay
No,
thing.
that's right.
So she said, "Keith, somebody slapped you." She said, "Because the handprint is in your face." The teacher left the handprint. That's how hard she hit me. I didn't cry neither. But, and then I said, "Oh, I remember, yes, it was Miss Bell." Well, I'm telling you, my mother had business in Hutchinson School that next day. She had that school in an uproar. Well, when she finished with them, I mean, the teacher said to me, after my mother had left, "Why did you tell your mother I hit you?" I said, "I didn't tell her." I said, "She saw your handprint in my face." Just like that. And of course, I never had a good relationship in that school after that. I mean, just one thing after the other. My mother eventually, we moved out of Belton about another year or so. I think we moved on 5th Avenue for about a year or two.
Yeah,
And then we went to New Rochelle in 38. So you understand what I'm saying. 38 we moved to New Rochelle. And, but one of the things that I remember in Hutchinson School that was a national, well, they changed the whole policy, was we had a black girl. And what happened was each class had to send a child downstairs to get the milk every day.